back to the channel. Little update: the bottle stopper carving that we're going to do. Number one was the winner, and so that is in production right now. But I wanted just to do a real quick video in between or before this one starts. It's getting close to Christmas, so I created this pattern for I guess you'd call him a trashy Santa. And it's become pretty popular. I've carved I don't know how many of these already since I sold the first one. It's available on my Square store, and I'll put a link in the description below. And I'll also put the pattern for this in the description below too, probably in a Google Drive type document. Anyway, so I thought, well, just real quick, we go ahead and carve this one. It's not real complicated. I'll put the pattern will actually be to scale, so you'll be able just to print it off and start carving it. So the first thing that I want to do is I just want to kind of come in here and put the bottom of his hat, top of his hat, the ball goes somewhere right around in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start defining that out. So probably not going to talk a whole lot in this. Probably a good thing. So basically I'm going to use a knife. I've got a small dockyard V tool and then probably a small dockyard U gouge, maybe. So anyway, so the first thing that I want to do, and I've got the grain running up and down in this block, is I just want to start defining the bottom of this. You can use your V tool for this if you want to outline it. I'll just make a stop cut back to it. And I'll do the same thing for the top. I'm going to start rounding this back towards the back. So the ball, you could have it come all the way out, but typically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this material right here, and I'll have it set towards the back a little bit. So something like that. And the next thing I want to do is I just want to go around here and clean up all my bandsaw marks and get rid of those before I start shaping them. Okay, so now we've got that done. Basically what I want to do is I just want to come in here and start getting the shape of this hat and try to pull it back as far as I can. So we'll want to pull that back. On this one I didn't do it as much. Some of the other ones I did. It just depends on the wood. Try to cut all the blocks at the same time if I can, but sometimes that's hard to do, not knowing how many you need to make. And so we kind of got the hat shaped a little bit. Once I get it all roughed out, then I'll go back in and put in all the details. But for time being, take the bandsaw marks off. Okay, so now I've kind of got that shaped up, I'm going to start. I'll remove all this bandsaw marks and start rounding towards the outside edge and bottom edge. Kind of decrease the amount of material there. So we've got something like this. We're tapering it towards the bottom, and we'll actually do more as we go, but okay. So we've left a kind of a ridge in the middle. And so for this pattern, he's got some hair. His face will be somewhere in here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and basically I want to find my center. And I just want to leave, this one's fairly flat. We can go ahead and take this down a little bit. So we've got something like that. And then we'll go ahead and draw in his eyes. His nose will be somewhere right around in there. So we'll have something like this. And so, let me see if I can grab my other little bit bigger V-tool. So for this guy, all I want to do is I just want to follow my lines around. Now I'll follow my nose around. Okay, so we got that. I'll go back in there. You could do this with a knife too, but it just, because I find it's faster just to use the V-tool. Put that knife right in the center of the V. And then I'll follow my nose cuts around too. We've got something like that. Do the same thing over here. And we'll come back and clean this up later, but for right now, I'm just okay. And so now he's got, I made this mustache one, this side a little bit higher. Actually, his nose should be around in there. Something like that. So I'll just come in here with my knife and just follow that around. And I'm just going to take a little sliver out and then put the knife right here in the bottom of his nose. So we'll start at the side and we'll come around here, take a little sliver out, and right there at the bottom. I want to continue with that, and we'll just cut the bottom of his nose. So for this, I'll use my V-tool, and basically I'm just going to trace my line. Now I don't go every one, so I'll just hit the low parts of it. Something like that. And then I come back in here and put in my cuts. back in and clean all that up here in just a little bit. So we've got the bottom part done. Okay. Now we got the eyes, the outline of the eyes in there. We can go ahead and set this. Set the sides where his hair is going to go. Something like that. So I'll use the V tool for this. Do the other side. Same thing like that. And we'll come in here and put in our hair. I'm going to follow this around. And then I'm going to cut back towards it. Do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of cleaning this up a little bit where I can get nice clean cuts. Okay. I want to come in here on the side, kind of make a cut like that, so you can see it here. Okay, so then the next thing I want to use is my U-gouge and give him some nostrils. So I'm just going to stick that in there pretty good there. Pretty good there. I've got it in there. Then I'll go back and pick that out. Get rid of my pencil marks if I've got any. So I wanted those nostrils kind of pronounced, so just made a couple of V cuts like that, and then we will kind of give him some accent cuts on his nose. Okay, so now we're ready for his eyes. So we'll just pencil in upper eyelid there, the bottom of his eyes. So for this, I'm going to use a knife, but I've got a little bit smaller one that I like to use. I've had this Helvy for a long time, and it does pretty good, like a pencil handle. So all I want to do is I'm just going to follow that line like I was using a pencil, and I'm just making a stop cut. Okay, then I'm going to come back and just remove that sliver. Be careful here, those eyelids are thin. Something like that, and then I'm going to just make a triangle cut in each corner. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing here. As I'm just going to follow that line work. Then in the corner of the eye, we'll kind of round this off just a little bit. Do the same thing over here on this side. Smaller knives help out quite a bit in areas like this where you don't have to put such a big blade, but you can use it. Use a big a blade as you feel comfortable using. Okay, so we got the eyes in, and then we'll just put the bags under his eyes. So I'm just going to make a series of V cuts. Put those in. Like that. And then I'll go ahead and give him some wrinkles on there. And on there like that. Let me give him another one. He's an old dirty street Santa. Switch back over. Then I just kind of want to round him off. Get rid of any of my little pieces there. Okay. So he'll be smoking a cigarette. So probably what I'll do is I'll just put it like right there. So in doing that, all I did was just use my gouge and stuck it in there, and then cut this little piece out. And I'll have to go back and make it deeper as when I carve the cigarette. But so when I got him looking kind of like what I think he should, then I will start rounding this down, thinning this up as much as I can. Go in here and clean the bottom of the brim of his hat. Give him some so we kind of got him to the shape and look that we're going for. So now all you need to do is just go around and make sure that you get rid of all the little fuzzies if you've got some, which we do on this one. Clean up the carving a little bit. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll just kind of come in here and make some accent cuts. It's okay there, that cigarette will be there, so we don't want him to look finished and perfect. We want him to be kind of rough looking. Something like that. All these little cuts that you put in here, depending upon how you apply your finish and if you do any type of antiquing, will really accentuate those cuts. You can see, you can see how all the antiquing and the finish has got down in those little crevices. So I think with that, this guy is done. The cigarette is just a scrap piece of basswood. So I'll kind of carve it to shape, get it close. I've got something to hang on to. I'll use a little bit longer piece, so I've got something to hold. And then basically we'll test fit it. And then typically we always got to go more. We got something like that. So then when we get it where the size that we want it, then I'll just come in here and make sure that it's all the same size for the length. Something like pretty close. You can kind of see that we're a little bit big there. So what I'll do is just kind of go around it a little bit and then cut it off. Get it to break off. Then all I do is take my wood burner and burn the ends of it. Kind of see how it's done there. Then after I paint it, paint the cigarette, paint the Santa, I'll just simply go in there and glue it in. And he'll be completed. So I make a hanger from a piece of copper wire, glue it in. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'll put the information in the description so you'll have the pattern, and if you want to, if you don't want to carve one of these and you'd like to purchase one, my Square store will be in there as well, and I've got a bunch of different things out there. So anyway, hope everybody has a great holiday and happy carving.